following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, through the first 2 weeks of the season, 2-0. They're trying to go for 2, and it's worked out pretty well so far. Now, close game with the Dallas Cowboys in week 1. Thumped the Falcons at the end of the game last week. This week, tougher test. You're on the road at the LA Rams. Last week against the Atlanta Falcons, though, we saw that that defense come up with opportunistic plays at the end of the game. Mike Edwards with the back-to-back pick sixes against Matt Ryan. How concerned are you, or is there a level of concern for you right now with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
The back half scares me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the pass rush hasn't been as good as you would expect it to be scares me. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all and 10 being terrified, I'd put it at a 1.2.
Yeah. I would agree. This team has everything. We knew it coming into this season, after the offseason that they had, where they brought back everybody from the Super Bowl team, the 22 starters, all back. The fact that we don't run the ball well really irritates me, but
it was predictable.
Of course.
I mean, I don't think anybody looked at this, and we talked about this with fantasy football going into the year. If you're counting on one of those guys, you're doing it wrong.
True. Very true. And, Leonard Fournette has had a couple of good carries that you look at and go, okay, maybe he's showing some former shades of his dominating times with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he's never going to be a featured part of the offense. Ronald Jones is horrible. It seems like he keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
Whiffed blocks on pass protection just drive me insane. And there were several of those points last week, and I could very well see this getting to a point where Tom Brady says, don't put him out there on the field with me anymore, at least if you're going to ask him to pass block. Tom continues to find Rob Gronkowski 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. They will continue to have that connection where I think it's funny when they describe their times on the field where the only people who know what Rob Gronkowski is going to do on a play are him and Tom Brady. Because Tom can check off and say, look, I noticed this formation. You're going to have a hole. Go run this route. That's just what comes from having an incredible connection, a lot of familiarity with your tight end.
The tight ends are going to regret, or the touchdowns are going to regress.
Of course.
I think he will be more of a specialty player. I don't know that he can hold up. I mean, he's averaged 54 snaps a game in the first two games. I don't think he can hold up to that. And I don't think it's smart to ask him to hold up to that.
Right.
This is a guy that's had bulky knees and all those things.
Necks and backs.
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to be chucking him out there this much in a week 2 game with the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
I don't get that personally. Everything else, I mean, you're just so damn good.
Yeah.
The secondary's not great. I still think Carlton Davis is good.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are not as good.
Well, this is why you heard the rumblings of them possibly trying to bring in Richard Sherman to fill in that role for Sean Murphy-Bunting after he got hurt. And, you expected them to hammer the Falcons last week.
Mm-hmm.
This week, going up against a much tougher test in the LA Rams. It's going to be a fun game. 4:25 start out on the West Coast. It's going to be the game of the week for everybody. Tom Brady versus Matt Stafford. The two teams that are vying for that number 1 spot in the NFC.
I think these two teams are very, very close.
I'd agree with that.
The thing that sways it for me is that the Rams can do that one thing that's always bothered Brady, which is get pressure up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you got Aaron Donald, you're going to be able to do those things. To me, this is dead heat. I can't tell you you're wrong no matter what you think happens unless you think one of these teams gets blown out, which I cannot see.
No.
I've got the Rams this week, but damn, it's close.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm taking the Rams, to be really honest with you, is because I'm catching a point.
Yeah.
I would probably have taken either underdog.
Okay. All right. Tampa fans, we love our team, but I think this is a week that you lose one. You can't win them all, and this is going to be one of the toughest games that you have all season long. Part of me feels like we're going to lose this one. We could lose against the Bills. There's only going to be a few of them. There's only going to be 3-4 games that you lose all season long, and I think this one can be that spot. However, I look for everybody to have a good game this week. All the wide receivers for us, all the wide receivers for them. I think it's going to be a really fun game. And you're going to learn a lot about these two teams.
I will say not having Jason Pierre-Paul is probably going to be a problem this week.
Yeah.
Now you can fixate a lot on Shaq Barrett. I'll be interested to see if Joe Tryon is as good as everybody told me he was. Mm-hmm. I had him graded as an inside linebacker. I didn't really think he could do this in the NFL. So, we'll see. We'll see with a full complement of snaps what he looks like.
He can. I think he is going to I think he's going to impress you this week. Not saying he's going to have a huge statistical game, but, the rest of the season looks great. I'm picking a loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. But, as it rolls on the rest of the season.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We are always here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Hit that subscribe button so you see all of our individual team-by-team content throughout the season, as well as join us live every weekday morning at 10 a.m. in the Wicked Weed studio. We'll see you next time.